Have you ever been RVing in the cold and woken up to a freezing RV because your furnace decided to take a vacation? It can be frustrating, especially when you don't know where to begin troubleshooting the problem. Today's video is all about understanding how your Dometic RV furnace works. Understanding the inner workings, you'll be able to approach troubleshooting with more confidence, and you'll be able to get that heat back up and running when you need it the most. Even if you're not the handiest person, this video will equip you with the knowledge to talk to your RV technician and ask the right questions. Stick around till the end so you can hear my 3 tips for furnace maintenance that will help keep your furnace running efficiently and performing well during those cold winter months. So grab a cup of hot chocolate, cuddle up underneath your favorite blanket, and let's sit back and learn how your RV furnace keeps you warm. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Garth with En Route RV Services. Our channel exists to teach RVers the basics of troubleshooting, repair, and anything related to RV lifestyle. The 3 things that your furnace needs to operate. So let me break it down. Think of your furnace like a campfire. Your campfire needs wood for fuel, right? Your campfire also needs air to feed the flames, and it also needs a spark to get it going. Well, your RV furnace needs 3 essential items for it to work. So the first item is power. We need 12 volts DC from either our battery or from our converter. All right. This power will be used to operate the control board, to operate the blower motor, to open up gas valves so we can allow the LP to come through. And then we need 12 volts, which gets converted into a higher voltage to operate the electrode, which creates the spark. That's why we need power. The next item is airflow. We need airflow when we're lighting a fire, campfire. We also need airflow when we're trying to utilize our RV furnace. Our blower motor will actually push air across our heat exchanger, and then that warm air starts flowing out through the registers in your floor or wherever they may be in your RV, and then your RV starts to warm up. So having airflow is an important item for our furnace to work. And of course, you need fuel, which is our last item that's needed for your RV furnace to work. With that LP gas, it's going to allow us to have that ignition and to heat your RV. So you need all 3 of these items to make your RV furnace work. That is power, that's airflow, and that's fuel. Now that you have learned the 3 items needed to have a RV furnace operate, let's now step into the startup sequence. All right, now we're going to talk about the startup sequence. Let me give you an example, a life experience that I've had. My wife and I went RVing, and we woke up to freezing temperatures. I mean, it wasn't freezing, but it was really cold for us because we live down here in the South, and we were up in Michigan, and she elbowed me. I'm like, ow, what? And she says, go turn on the furnace. I'm freezing. I said, okay, let me go turn the furnace on. So that brings us to the beginning part of the startup process. Now let me get my little pictures here. So I go to the thermostat and I turn it on to furnace, and then I set the set point. We're just going to give an example of 60 degrees. Okay. So whenever I do that, that thermostat's going to send a signal onto the furnace's control board. The control board is like the brain of the furnace. It knows that it receives the signal, and then it knows what to do after that. Okay? So once the signal is received from the thermostat to say, hey, turn up the heat, the control board goes into its startup process. It starts off by providing power to the blower motor, which provides the airflow. Once that gets up to speed, then it goes through two safety devices. The next steps go through two safety devices. The first one is the cell switch. Now this little guy here is actually is looking for the correct amount of airflow before it will go on to the next step. If it passes, then it will allow the signal, or the 12 volts, if you will, to go through to what we call the limit switch. Now this is like a built-in thermostat for the furnace itself. It checks to make sure that the heat exchange area is not too hot. If it is hot, then it shuts down everything and it says, hey, whoa, we got to cool down before we go any further. But in the startup sequence, if everything's fine, then it allows the signal to go back out to the control board saying, hey, we're all systems go. We can now go to ignite the system. So the control board then sends 12 volts to our gas valves to open those up. At the same time, we're gonna send high voltage, DC voltage, to the electrode. Now the electrode is going to start that spark, and then at that point we're going to have airflow, we're going to have fuel, and we're going to have spark, and that creates combustion. So we have ignition and we have flame. That's when you start hearing the sounds of, it almost sounds like jets, or a jet going off. Then, once that happens, we have a second part, or second duty of the electrode, and that is to send back to the control board to say, hey, I sense a flame. Once the control board receives that signal back from the electrode saying, hey, I got a flame, then the control board says, all right, I've done everything I needed to do to start the furnace. So at this point, the furnace is operating, it's providing heat, everybody's happy, and we just have a little dance party. All right, my wife's happy, I'm happy because my wife's happy, and that is the startup process. Hey, I just want to take time here to encourage you. I know that you're probably thinking, why do I need to know how this thing works? I just want it to heat my RV. Trust me, understanding a little bit about how this furnace operates can be a real lifesaver when things go wrong. Plus, it'll make you sound super smart at the next campground gathering. If you're getting value from this video, please like and subscribe below. A quick note before we go any further. Always consult the manufacturer's manual or call a certified RV technician when you're troubleshooting. Now let's turn our attention to what you would do if your RV furnace has an issue. Don't panic, all right? You got this. So here are a couple of things that we can check before we start calling the professionals out. All right, so the first thing that we want to check is the power, the 12 volt DC power. We get that power from the power distribution box. Also, we get it from the battery, but we want to check at the power distribution box to see if we have any of those automotive fuses that might have burnt. Sometimes your box will have a light on it for you to recognize that you have a burnt fuse. If you check your little slot that is probably spelled out as furnace, and if that's good, well then now we move towards the furnace. If you're not receiving, if nothing is working, then we want to check the little switch that is inside the furnace case, right near the control board. You want to have that set to reset. Okay, you don't want it off, you want it on the reset. The next item that we're going to look at is, are we hearing the blower motor? You got to listen to see if the blower motor is actually spinning. If it doesn't sound like it used to when it was new, then we might have a problem with the motor. If we don't hear it at all, then we probably have something with the motor, or it could be the control board, one of the two. The next item that we want to listen for is the click sound, and this could be hard. You might want to be outside to see if you can hear the clicking of the valves opening. If you don't hear that, you could have some valves issues, or you could have a control board issue. The next thing is you want to listen for is the electrode, where they have that tick, 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 tick sound. If you're not hearing that, you could have a control board issue, or you could have an electrode issue. If you do have the tick, tick, tick sound, but it never lights, or it lights and then goes off, that could be an electrode issue. The next is the ignition. You want to hear if you're getting an ignition. If you're not, then you might not have LP. If you are getting it and it goes out, you could have something that's on the electrode that needs to be cleaned off. Something of that nature. The next thing that we want to feel if we are getting ignition is you want to feel the airflow out of the registers. Are we getting good airflow? Because if we're not, we might have some issues with the ducting system. We might have some blockage somewhere. The next item that we want to look to smell, this one is a smell, is we want to smell if we're getting LP. If we're not getting ignition and we still hear the tick, tick, tick sound, if we're smelling that ethyl mercaptan, then we probably have a problem with the ignition. If we're not smelling it and it keeps going through and it goes into lockout, then we might have an LP gas regulator issue, or we might just not have any LP. So those are the items that you want to troubleshoot, to diagnose, to kind of listen for, smell, feel. And that could help you in, one, talking to your professional, or being able to get in there and figuring it out yourself. So as always, check your manufacturer's manual before you even start getting into this. Just like with any other RV appliance, your RV furnace needs a little TLC to keep it running smoothly. So here are my 3 tips to ensure efficiency and performance. Our first tip is regular cleaning. You'll have dust, debris, even insects can build up inside your furnace and hinder airflow. So I recommend having your furnace be professionally clean at least once a year. That way, when it comes time for the winter months and you need your furnace, you're not going to have debris over your cell switch, or you will have a clean burn chamber and you don't have to worry about the dirt daubers building up their nest. All right, tip number 2 is for preventative maintenance. If you live in the South and you have dirt daubers, this is for you. What you want to do is you want to purchase one of these bug screens to go over your furnace. Now, a caveat here, it's better to do this when it's outside your warranty. because they won't warranty your furnace if you have a dirt dauber screen or an insect screen on it. So this is specifically for when it's outside your manufacturer warranty for that furnace. You're going to save some money because just recently I had to clean out a furnace that had, oh my goodness, they built a mansion inside the heat exchanger, and it took me several hours. And so a $10 bug screen compared to, let's say, $500 invoice to clean out a furnace, I would go with the $10 screen. So to help you and to help your furnace to stay clean and clear of those insects, go out and buy you a $10 bug screen. Amazon has plenty of them on there. Just make sure that you get the right design for the furnace that you have. So our last tip is optimize airflow. There's two things that we can do here. One is to make sure that we don't have anything over the floor registers or the toe kick registers that you sometimes find at your island or in your bathroom. You just don't want to have anything that's obstructing that airflow coming out. If you do, remove that to where the air will flow freely. The other thing that you can look for, now you'll have to find your furnace and you'll have to probably remove a panel or something to look behind it to see if you have excess ducting. If you do, you want to see if you can kind of eliminate that excess, maybe cut it and then reattach it to the furnace. What you're trying to do is to make more of the ducting straight than having a lot of bends to it. Now I know that there will be bends, of course, because of how you get from the heat from point A to point B in a floor register. You will have some 90s or some bends, but what we're trying to do is sometimes they just put excess ducting behind the furnace. So if you can eliminate some of that, man, you're gonna have better airflow. Your performance is gonna be great. So there you have it. Remember, if you have some issues or you're unsure about something, consult your owner's manual or contact a qualified RV technician. Here's our question of the day. Leave us a comment below and tell us the last time that you had your furnace professionally cleaned. And hey, if you found that this video was helpful, don't forget to give us a like, thumbs up, I guess. Yeah, thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel for more RV repair and maintenance tips. And if you're in Southwest Louisiana and need assistance with your RV furnace or any other RV repairs, please contact En Route RV Services. You can find our contact information in the description below. I hope you learned a lot about your Dometic RV furnace. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.